Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Welcome back. It's Monday after a long weekend. Let's get started. Steven in the UK, holla my brother. What's up? Just want to start off today with a little bit of a funny meme, and I'm sure you guys will probably appreciate it a little bit. If I can just shrink it down a little bit so you can see it, that'd probably be better. But basically, what the heck's just happening? All right, so basically what's happened here is, there we go, perfect. So Pablo Escobar, even here at a party and nobody wants to talk about crypto. Kind of what we feel like. So Axel, nice to see you. If you guys are watching on YouTube, do click that subscribe, like, and share button. It is really easy. Just give a click, 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 and a little bell button. Click, 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 and you're done. All right, so start off with a joke. This is pretty much how you've been feeling if you're in crypto and trying to talk about it to anyone. You're basically sitting there going like, yeah, crypto, and they're just like, oh, that fake scam thing, whatever. But what is really cool is crypto's become a really cool little family. And what I mean by that is, like, go to tokenomics and we go to different DS Summit and all these places. I went to non-crypto event, but with the Prime Minister of Thailand, which was really, really cool. Got to meet the Minister of Finance, got to meet the Minister of Transportation, got to meet the Minister of FinTech Innovation for all of Thailand. So that was really, really cool, really exciting, engaging stuff. Until they started asking election questions, and then it got a little intense. But other than that, it was pretty good. Now, I just want to go over what's been happening in crypto, because it's been a little while for most of you. And so if you're watching on Facebook, guys, go on, click on the link and go into YouTube. I am going to be chatting only through YouTube from now on, just to make life a little bit easier than going from platform to platform. So first things first, why does Coinbase keep shooting themselves in the foot? Now, if you don't know what's been going on in Coinbase, they want to be the Google of crypto. They want to be number one. They are number one as right now, right? But here's the thing. There are a few things that have kind of stung them. The first thing is the Bitcoin Cash rollout. Obviously, we know how that went. Huge pump, huge dump right after it listed. Huge problems, right? Then we have this whole Neutrino acquisition where they have these hackers that are linked to unethical hacking and all this other stuff. And people have an uproar and they do delete Coinbase. And then we also have this next thing, which just happened right now, where we have this maker-taker fiasco. And basically what happened was, people that are using under $100,000 worth of transactions per month are now going to be in a higher fee structure than they ever had before. Now, before there were no maker fees, and now there are maker fees. And now there used to be taker fees, but no maker fees on Coinbase Pro. And they're kind of catering to the elite. Well, as you guys know, in crypto, we're not supposed to be creating, making it so the elite get better services, right? So as you can see here in the new fee overhaul model, they're gonna take a lot more money from people. And it seems like a lot and like a little bit, like 0.15%. But when you actually add these things up together, it ends up being a lot of money out of your pocket. When you do a transaction, for example, if you're buying Bitcoin, usually there's already a premium on top of it, plus you're paying a maker and taker fee. So you're paying premiums on everything when you buy through most exchanges. So that's something also to know. Now, the reason why they're saying Coinbase is shooting themselves in the foot is because really it just caters to the ultra elite. You know, if you don't have 50 million plus, you're going to be paying maker fees all the time, which is, it's fine. Most exchanges have them, but there are cheaper exchanges and alternatives such as Binance. So this is a really big deal. Now, when we have Neutrino, we have this huge community outroar against them because of this hacking team that they have. They sell spyware to governments. It's just bad news bears all around. Creates the delete Coinbase fiasco. So that was really interesting how that played out. Now, yes, Coinbase is a unicorn. It's an $8 billion unicorn. It's very, very profitable. But at the same time, they're doing things that are leading to steps that could potentially hurt them. Now, will it? I think they're too big, and I think they have too much people that want to work with them, so it should not affect them at all. But it is still something that they have to keep in mind and be very cognizant of. So next up, we have MakerDAO and security tokens. And here's a really interesting idea. MakerDAO, their CEO, Rune Christensen, believes that security tokens are the new most exciting project now entering the blockchain sphere. And as you guys know, I've been talking at STO conferences and things like that. And I also truly believe that this is the next asset class. Now, You say that, and you go, why? And we have illiquid assets like real estate, which actually suck to actually hold, because unless you're holding really long time and you're okay to wait a year to sell your house, it's really hard to do that. So now if we do security token offerings, we have other options. There's definitely legal regulations that need to come out, and I have said this before, we're 3 to 5 years away from all these things happening, but it's something super exciting. And if you're a long-term player and you're not just in it for the quick Lambo and Moon, you're gonna see this as a very exciting thing. Now imagine owning a piece of the Mona Lisa, not owning the whole thing, but owning a piece of it. These are the types of assets you could buy with things that are like, or not things like with security tokens, which is something very exciting because it has real value backing it, not just, you know, a US dollar, which loses 2% per year. So these are things that you always have to be cognizant of and thinking of and knowing that is actually happening. Now, the real asset, which is cool about DAI, is it actually has more money backing it than actually it needs. So for example, if I get a DAI, usually they back it with $3 or $2.50, something like that, not just $1. And what it does is it actually means that they have the ability to, you know, cover costs just in case. So during the bear market, you can see some examples in this graph here. They didn't really get affected as badly as everyone. Sure, they went from, you know, 1,600 down all the way down to 400, but they didn't get as badly affected. They got badly affected, but not as bad. And that's something that's really interesting. Now, the whole idea of BitShares was to do the same thing, kind of as a true stablecoin. What MakerDAO is a true stablecoin because it backs it with more Ethereum than you need for $1 of Ethereum. So when you go to get your dollar back of Ethereum, it doesn't fluctuate because they have more backing it. That's why they have more than 1% of all of the Ethereum in the whole entire world, okay? But the whole idea of these security tokens is, think of things like bonds, stocks, real estate, car companies. You could do, any company could be backed by an actual cryptocurrency or a digital asset technically. And that is what's really interesting, because securities are like normal securities like stocks. You're owning a piece of something, right? And because of that, if you have something, and real estate is really the biggest play right here, is if you have a huge commercial building, you can actually sell pieces of it to people. You can give them, you know, shares in security tokens, and basically they can get dividends on that every year, paid out for rent roll. They can hold it and then sell it later to someone else who wants to own that piece of real estate. And it's something that's actually backed by something real, not something that we don't know if they're going to create it or if it's ever going to be used. So that's something that's really interesting that they were talking about in this article, which I found. MakerDAO is a really interesting project. You should definitely take a look into it. It's going to be more of a true stablecoin than any of the others. Now, moving on, we're talking about the world's 10th largest company, Ping An Insurance. They partnered with AGI, or SingularityNet. Now, why is that important? Well, SingularityNet focuses on AI, and basically, Ping An Insurance has these things called unstaffed clinics, and they're called 1-minute clinics in eight parts of China, where you go and it has a lot of AI integration and it tells you what's wrong, what's going on, and all those types of things. So it's really good for you to learn and understand you know, yourself without having to have a doctor definitely right there. And this is kind of one of those things where they have AI and the integration, and these guys have the insurance, and maybe you mix them together and you make it really cheap for you to analyze someone and find out what's wrong with them without having to pay a doctor hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So this is something quite interesting. And I don't know if you guys remember that SingularityNet actually attracted $36 million in 1 minute their ICO was sold out. So it's kind of like we're seeing with Binance Launchpad. And I don't know if you guys remember, I did say with Binance Launchpad that BNB could spark a bull run. And we're starting to see with the IEOs that are going on it, that it's kind of doing that, but artificially kind of, because we see them pump a lot and then we see them dump a lot so far. So we'll have to see what actually happens with them. But I do like Binance. I like how they keep adding more use cases to their token. I think that, you know, they have some legal things that might come up later, but I really like seeing what Binance has been doing with their BNB token and how they keep giving it more use case and keep giving it more, you know, real world use cases, like using it in everyday life. We're also seeing that with wallets. We're seeing that at conferences. I saw some really cool stuff with Roscoe and Tom Howard. They're creating this really cool wallet. They'll make it so you can't lose your private keys, so you don't have to worry. So it's like Amazon. It's just on your phone and it does everything you want it to do, but you don't have to worry about it. And if someone tries to rob you, you don't have to worry about it. There's also my other buddy Dunstan Sabechi, who's got the Interstellar wallet, which you can download on your phone right now, and it will let you trade any currency against any other currency, which is super cool. So if you have Trump coin, you can trade it for Litecoin. If you have Litecoin, you can trade it for Bitcoin. If you have, you know, penis coin even, you can trade it for something. It lets you trade every single coin in the market for another coin if you want to. And as long as there's someone who's buying and selling, they try to match it up on every single exchange, giving you the best possible price. Very cool wallet. Take a look at that. These are two kind of projects that are really interesting to me at this point. Now, another really cool thing here is, I don't know if any of you guys know Mark Faber, and I didn't really know a lot about him. I hadn't done research into him before, but some people were like, you know Mark Faber? And I'm like, I've heard his name. They're like, you need to read about him. So I started reading about Mark Faber, and the really cool thing about him is he finally just bought Bitcoin. And the thing that's really interesting is he's known as Dr. Doom, right? So why are they calling him Dr. Doom? Because he basically is, like me, very pessimistic about the outlook on the markets currently right now. I've been saying it since August of 2018 that we're going to have a huge drop. We did have a huge drop. Tech stocks dropped $1 trillion, and now they're recovering a little bit back, but they will continue to drop down. Things will continue to drop down as cryptocurrencies start getting more adopted, as the markets have already been way overbought, and you can tell they're overbought at the point where, you know, at some point in the next couple years, whether it be this year, next year, we see another drop like we have, we're going to see a Bitcoin type of drop where it will cause another global financial crisis. This is not me trying to scare you. This is me being real with you guys, telling you the global financial crisis number 2.0 will be here probably in the next year or two. So prepare yourself for that. Hedging, like I've told you since August, is a really good bet if you have stocks. And if you are in Forex, you should know which currencies will benefit from global financial crises and get yourself ready. But remember, fiat will be devalued over time. So look at the cryptocurrency world as a new way of doing it. And then Faber buying these coins, Bitcoins, is really interesting. He always buys devalued assets. So he thinks that Bitcoin currently, based off his investing strategy, is undervalued. So as I've been telling you guys for how many months now, since December, I believe, when I did the blockchain conference in Bangkok, I said to people, we are going to see Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the other cryptocurrencies that are use cases. I mean, Ethereum's kind of on the fence for me, but cryptocurrencies that have a lot of use case, you're going to start to see them grow. Okay, so I believe April will be a mini bull run. The big bull run, probably not, but it's definitely going to start us off. And we've seen through the middle of February to March, most of the coins that I've been calling, saying these are ones to look at, have gone up between 30 and 100 and 340%. So these are things that I've been paying attention to, and you definitely should be paying attention to. And look at the fundamentals of coins right now, and if you see how many mainnets are coming online and how many testnets are coming online and how much products are actually coming out from all these cryptocurrency companies, you'll understand why I've been saying this and what is about to come. It is going to be huge. Now, I saw this. This is not what he meant in this article, so I did not use it. So Joseph Lubin, he is one of the founders of Ethereum, and he founder of Consensus. The keynote speech is the SXSW. And basically he's talking about what's going on with the Ethereum blockchain and what's happening there. But what's really interesting about this is that he is actually going to be doing something pretty awesome with side chains, so or second layer scaling. So what they're going to do is not just use the main chain, they're going to use other side chains and second layers to speed up transactions and do new things using the Ethereum blockchain. Me personally, I don't think Ethereum is going to come back as strong as some other people do, and it's mostly not because of Vitalik and not because of that stuff, but because they have a very shitty business model. Let's be real here, everyone. The business model of Ethereum does not make sense once they go to a proof of stake system, because it just won't make any sense anymore. And so I don't know, like they made most of their money from doing ICOs, and people are leaving their platform for faster platforms. And so I'm kind of confused of where their direction perfectly will be meshed into the new system, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. I just don't think that personally I would be stocking up on Ethereum at this point yet. I stocked on it when it was 85 and sold it on the way up towards our hard fork and our upgrade actually. So that's something also to keep in mind, but he's talking about the ICO craze kind of probably hurt Ethereum in this article, how we're having second layer solutions, and how entrepreneurs, even like myself, we have been creating stuff for the last 16, 18 months, and people have been looking at ways to improve this cryptocurrency world and adoption. And so for me, I focused on making something that would make it anyone, basically Athena trading bot was and is the idea behind making trading easy for anyone to access how to start and giving them actual risk management without having to stress out about it's going to come back and lose all their money. So our system was, if we do have another bull run, awesome, we'll make a lot of money. And if we have a little bit of bearish movement, well, guess what? You won't be wrecked. The whole point is not to be. So that was our idea. We've seen wallets. We're seeing scalability options. We're seeing second layer solutions. We're seeing side chains. These are all things that are going to increase the whole entire market. And we're seeing adoption, so much of it. But the thing is, people like us, because if you're watching my videos right now or later on during the day, what you'll notice is crypto adoption is happening at a very fast pace, but no one really realizes it. Now, what also is happening is Joseph used the example of email. I think that's a good example. Like, no one really, people kind of know what crypto is. They just say Bitcoin when I talk about I'm in cryptocurrency. And I tell them, well, there's a lot more to it than just Bitcoin. There's blockchains, there's side chains, there's, you know, scalability options to make things faster than our current system. And then they're like, oh, really? And you're like, yeah, man, it's really cool. You got to check this out. So, we're really at the baby steps phase of like your first emails that you've been sending when you were really young and, you know, you started just to kind of play around with it. We're going to get so much further than that. And that's why I'm still bullish on the market. Everyone asks me like, how are you still bullish? Everything's down so much. And I say, because it's not about the money for me, right? I was a teacher before. Who teaches without, you don't make good money doing that before either, but it wasn't about the money. It's about the impact on the world this is going to have and being a part of this big world impact. And we're all a part of that right now. And you have to start educating your kids. My son walks around going, I'm Bitcoin Henley. I love it. You guys should be doing the same thing too, because if you truly believe in this industry and this revolution that's happening right before your eyes, it's gonna take time. Internet, people thought that watching TV was crazy when they started doing it. People thought typewriters were crazy when they first started doing them. People thought that computers were crazy. No one would ever have a computer in their house, and people thought having a handphone was also stupid. And all these things like faxes, people thought were stupid. Why? Because technology is something that takes a while for people to grasp. When they grasp it, they go, wow, it's really easy. And we're having the solutions that are fixing the problems of I'm going to lose my private key already right now. And so because you see all these solutions being made, like wallets that make it impossible to lose your money, wallets that make it easy for you to recover your funds if you potentially do something, ways to actually use your phone to trade different coins easily without having to be connected to certain exchanges, but having it all in one wallet. There's all these solutions coming, and that's just for different types of trading mechanisms. You're not even talking about the supply chains that are being created, the ways that it's going to improve healthcare, the way it's going to improve. My brother is a perfect example of blockchain. Today he went to the airport. They had his ticket number, but they didn't have him registered for his flight, right? And so what happened was we ended up having to go through this whole hoopla, and he nearly missed his flight because of it. And I'm sitting there going like, if they just booked this on the blockchain, it's immutable. They would have literally seen it, that it's his ticket, and it would have been done in 2 seconds. It took us 45 minutes. He nearly missed his flight. These are the things where blockchain is going to impact people's lives for the better. And that's why I think it's so amazing. Now, if you're watching this, guys, right now, and you have any questions about anything that I've been talking about, whether it be an April bull run or anything, do comment in the chat. Do click that subscribe and like button, okay? Moving on to our last little bit. This one is really creepy for me, okay? I'm not a big fan of hardcore AI where it's going to control things. My brother showed me this thing like, oh, the Olympics, they're going to have robots that wheel people around in the wheelchairs. And it really creeped me out. And the reason why it creeps me out is because I look at it and I go, why would you want a robot to do that? Like, I get it's convenient and stuff, but like, robots scare me a bit. And like this AI technology, and they program these robots really good, and then they say really weird things sometimes, and it's just like, ugh. Then you have these guys saying, oh, we're gonna put an implant into your hand which will become your Bitcoin wallet. Well, I'm sorry, but as of right now, if you did that and someone knew you had an implant of that in your hand, guess what might happen to you? They might just cut your hand open and steal your wallet. How are you going to stop them? So these things are not perfect solutions, and just implanting something like a wallet into my hand just seems really creepy. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's just something odd, and it's not something that I would be wanting to do myself. But basically body hacking, so putting these things in, and then you can use it through NFC to open doors, to open machines, to turn things on, but you have to implant it, and then you put your crypto wallet in your hand. Now that's just something really odd for me. I think it'd be kind of cool, but at the same time, who the heck wants to be branded with a chip? Now, what else can they do with that chip? Can they track you? Do they know where you're going? It's creepy for me. Even though your phone already does that, do you really want something like that inside of your body? Now, what crypto advantages could body hacking yield? I really don't think there are any yet. In the future, maybe, but we're not there yet. So that's something that I just want to point out, that this is stuff that's really creepy and weird. And to end off, I just want to give you guys a little smarty pants little meme here. So when you're at a party and nobody wants to talk about crypto, it kind of feels like this right now, doesn't it? Wait for April, okay? When April, we see the next bull run start. When we see, if it's not the next bull run, but a mini bull run for this year, we will see that happen in April. We'll probably have a dip right now at some point in the next week or two before April's run up starts. We'll dip down and we'll pop back up, I think. Now, it's very possible that we just kind of stagnate and then move up, but I truly believe that we'll have a little bit of a dip and then we'll start to rise in April. And that's what you guys have to prepare for. Not saying to get FOMO, just get prepared. Start looking at, if you have a bunch of USDT and you've been sitting out of the market, this might be a good time, if you got guys like Mark Faber jumping in, to start maybe, and don't do it the way you used to do it and put all of it at once. Put a little bit at a time in and see what happens. Now, this is not financial advice, guys. This is just what I personally am doing. Put a little bit in the time, and as we move, great. And if you're trading like I am with my trading pot, then I'm gonna take a big chunk and I'm gonna put some in Bitcoin right now, and I'm gonna start trading it. And I have been doing that since about the February 3rd, when I made a ton of calls, which a bunch of them hit over 50%. And it was a really good month. But now I think we've been really bullish for like 2-3 weeks. We'll have seller ICO on Binance. That comes on tomorrow. After that ICO, I think we'll have a dip. And if we don't, that's a very bullish sign in my opinion, because we should have one more quick dip before we start to rise in April. But that being said, who knows? Recently, the last 2 days, we've seen that 2-3 days, we've seen a really kind of stagnant sideways market, a couple coins pump here and there, but nothing really too great. I think that slow growth will start happening in April though. All right, so that's it for today. Does anyone have any questions? Guys, you're really quiet today. Maybe I should have done this on Facebook as well so you guys can comment, but that's okay. If you guys do watch this on Facebook, you can comment later and I will reply to them. If you're watching on YouTube, do let me know if you have any questions, and if not, that's good. You guys have yourselves a great day. Coach K signing out. Have yourselves a good one, everyone. And I'll see you guys next week, or maybe once more this week. Take it easy, everyone.